Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. It's for faith and motherhood and everything in between. So if this is your first time in this space, you are welcome. I'm glad to have you in this space. And if you're a returning viewer or a returning subscriber, whatever it is, thank you for choosing to be here once again. Thank you. To go on, have you subscribed just yet? If you haven't, don't forget to click on the button and subscribe so that you'll be notified every time and anytime English is doing a video is up. Yeah, so you'll be the first to know. So today's video is going to be a bit different. It's just, let's see it as a mini get to know me and also some nuisance. So today's theme is things they didn't tell me and how adulthood happened to me. So I'm going to be using myself as case study. Are you excited? Because I am. I was reading through some of the things I jotted down and was like, okay, this is actually funny, at least to me. So the first is, when I was growing up, I used to be a very slow-paced person. And by slow-paced, it means that when you're working with me, I just really like to take my time, no stress. So one of the things you should bear in mind is that I grew up in Oyo Town, which is one of the reserved places you can ever be, in my opinion, in Nigeria. And so one of the times when I transitioned, I moved down to Lagos. If you're also familiar with Nigeria, you know Lagos is a very bubbly and busy place. And I can remember this particular day, I was waiting for the bus. My usual sense of, okay, in your town, people are always waiting. When you flag down a bike, for example, or you call a cab, they wait for you. But I was waiting for this bus to wait. But the first bus came when people jumped into it, like literally jumped. And then the second one, the third one, and I was rushing for an interview on that particular day. I had to give myself Lagos sense that day and transition my mentality from the Oyo cool girl vibe to joining the multitude and jumping into the bus. Anyway, so that is one of the adulthood things that happened to me. So another backstory to this is, that was just one of. I stayed in Lagos for quite some time, but I still managed to find a way to not ori here and there because that was still not me. But anyway, I came down to Netherlands and me that can take bike for some minutes walk. Now I walk. I think my culture of walking self is not like a thing. I think I've been integrated into the walking system because whether you like it or not, you're going to walk here. And the good side of it is that I see that it's helping out in your keeping fit journey, especially for me that I've not eaten in gym for God knows when. This is not something to be proud of anyway, but heck, that is still one of my exercise methods. So one of the things again is, before I used to be very slow paced, my mom used to complain a lot, walk fast, but now nobody will tell me, because when I'm trying to hurry up for a bus, I shall walk in the fast lane. So another nuisance that you should bear in mind, getting to know me, is before I became a mom, I used to tell myself I was not an early morning person. And truthfully, I wasn't, because if you wake me up in the morning, I am still as slow can be. And I think another part of it, which now I've course corrected, is that sleeping late, obviously. When you sleep late, you're eating into your night, and then you're trying to wake up early, you're going to wake up tired. So in my head, I used to tell myself that I was not an early morning person. But well, whatever would happen to me, and now if I do not like it, I have to get up, especially when my son is in his room. Apologies, Jason, but he knows how to call their attention. Even in your dreams, you shall wake up. So that's true. So another nuisance of mine, reflecting on how adulthood that happened to me, is Saturdays used to be like a day that I tell myself that, oh, like it's so free, but now my Saturdays, even when I decide to make it a free day, it feels very weird, because my usual Saturdays is from one thing to another. Like, I tend to not do many things like chores and the likes, especially now during the week, and I just do the weekend. So Saturday is that weekend where things happen, and yeah, also some other commitments of mine. So some Saturdays when something different happened, I mean different in the sense that I went out to do something, or I just want to take a chill, those days actually really feel like a weird day. in a good way, because I'm using it to rest. But now, that's adulthood for you. Some things you take for granted, then please, if you are still in that phase, don't take it for granted. Enjoy all the free time you have before something happens. So, another part is, are you ready for this? Because people thinking about it making me laugh. I used to be a combination person when it comes to food. And, if you give me, I think I remember, yes, there's this particular combo I remember. So on this particular day, when I go back from school, my mom left a portion of fried rice. Apparently, I think one of my sisters made it. And then that morning, I was ate yam and egg. Because they thought I was going to get home earlier, they left that as well for me. So that's 2 different meals. And then there was also plantain, which is boli in Yoruba. It's roasted plantain. So I have 3 combinations. So you know what? I just said, okay, I'm going to take the 3 of it, and then everything was in a plate. And so I ate it wonderfully, gracefully. And that is not the first time. That is just one of the vivid examples I have of combination foods that I've eaten in my lifetime. I've eaten tons of it, actually. But then I got pregnant and things changed. I can't remember if I still combine a lot like I used to, because, well, if you have been pregnant before and you're watching this, you shall know how your physiology in your body changes as a woman. I shall not dare some combinations. If I like my stomach and the rumbling that can happen afterwards, if you understand the gaseous exchange that could come as a result of bad combination. Bless the heart of my husband. Anyway, so now I avoid it. So second to the last thing I want to mention is, I used to say that when I grow up, I'm going to do this, when I grow up, I'm going to do that. But what if I grow up? All of it, I want to grow up. Oh yeah, gather here. There's this mentality of, I'm going to be free to do this, I'm going to be free to do that. There's this freedom mentality we have that when I grow up, I will have that. The truth is that you have freedom to do those things, but you also need to understand that, especially when you're married and you have your kids, there's still some level of constraint. You have to consider A, B, and C, depending on the number of your family. And that, in some way, I wouldn't call it freedom. Like, you cannot just up and get out of the house and do something ASAP. You have to mention it to your partner, you need to do this. And then, okay, I hope you are able to stay with the kids or the kid. So there's all of that consideration you need to put into place, But then, I just want you, if you're listening to, you're single or you're in a phase where you're screaming, I want to grow up, enjoy your not grown up mode. Because, well, freedom doesn't necessarily have to be when you are out of your parents' house. You can still enjoy your time right now, because freedom looks different in different stages. So embrace your stage and phase as it comes. So the last news thing I want to share with you is, I used to also tell myself, when I get pregnant, I'm going to add flesh. But anyway, anyone who has known me for the past years would have noticed a constant thing, that I have not grown bigger than my current size. Gracefully. I'll say it gracefully. At the point, I was always saying, I'm going to get fat, I'm going to get fat, I'm going to get fat. I'll have more flesh at some point. Especially when I give birth to my child. But well, I did add flesh, and the flesh took a marathon afterwards. So what's the moral of me sharing all of this? One, see it as me cracking you up a little bit. There are times when you just need to sit down and reflect on your journey and what you used to think mattered at some certain stage, and when you're in that phase and stage right now, or your current, and you just really ask yourself, why was I running and speeding towards this? What next? Why not just enjoy that stage you're in? So yes, someday you look back at those things that used to frustrate you so much and be thankful that you went through it either way. So yes, don't jump phases, don't jump stages. Every stage has its own lessons, stretches, seasons, just embrace and walk that journey gracefully. So thank you for listening to all of my cracked up useless. And I'll see you in the next video. Don't forget to comment if you found this funny or hilarious. Love and light at all times. Take care of you. Bye.